for the very first time.
Mhm.
I stumbled on financial literacy with Miss Odetta King purely by accident. I retired from city service on September 2023, and my goal was to retire debt-free. So in the few years leading up to retirement, I tried diligently with debt management. Every time I got down to a respectable total, an emergency would arise, and I found I would have to take out my credit cards to deal with that expense that just came up. So it was back to square one. This continued again. I tried diligently going down after it reached a particular point. An emergency arose, and again had to use credit cards to deal with that emergency. So it was during this period that I started looking around for debt management companies for assistance, of which was Ms. Odetta's financial literacy program. She had a particular phrase which went something like stacking your coins to retirement and stacking your coins to eliminate debt. I made note of it, but I didn't contact her right away. I just went back to my usual diligent way of trying to control debt. To cut a long story short, I, I came retirement and I was nowhere achieving my goal. In addition to that, the very next month, October 2023, I embarked on a new journey, which was getting married to my cute and charming wife, Carmen, right here with me, who came to my rescue a few minutes ago. So at this point, I definitely said I really have to call Miss Odetta now for help. And as I
Cheers
was
to
about,
Carmen! Cheers to Carmen!
as I was about to do so, I observed she had some webinars that were listed. And so I began listening to the webinars. But what I found at first is that the webinars dealt mostly with insurances. And I really wasn't interested at the time with insurances because I felt to myself I had insurances. So, but as I listened to the webinars from time to time, I found them very interesting. Came February of this year, I had a very serious conversation with my dear friend, Miss Helen Amsterdam. I think she's on the Zoom right now because I know she's in Guyana. But the conversation dealt really with her long term friend and buddy, who also happened to be my batchmate years ago in college. Her name was the late Caroline Daly. I said late
Wow.
because regrettably, Caroline passed away in January of this year. So the conversation I had with Helen, among the things she said was that Caroline was very much prepared and she had everything in place. And she, Helen, said that whatever she's doing now, she's going to put everything in a trust. It so happened that when I thought of the conversation, I remember the webinars I was listening to because they all dealt around with the same theme. It was dealing with wills, probate, trust, term life insurance, whole life, universal life, and everything to do with protecting and securing your future. But I must take a little pause right here. Helen was invited to an in-person meeting, basically to listen to the same, something that's offered on the webinars. And after listening to the webinars, she was so moved by what she saw and heard that she soon after became a client. And after listening to additional presentations and webinars, she decided she wanted to go further by edifying families about protecting themselves for the future. So she then enlisted on an online course, and then she studied for a license exam, which she passed. So at the moment, she's the recipient of a license to empower families about securing their future. And all this she did from April to the time before she left for Guyana to deal with some family business. So I'd like to take this opportunity here to congratulate Helen on the bold step she has taken. And I know she'll do very well in this venture. Now, I must say that conversation I had with Helen and knowing that I had this important step, this new journey that I took recently, those are what propelled me to action. I called Miss Odette to find out about the insurances, to find out whether I needed additional insurance. Because to me, I had insurances, but I didn't know whether it was enough for me at this time. So Ms. Odette, right away, she asked me, what do the policies cover? Is it whole life, universal life? Do they have living benefits? Does it offer growth? I had to say, well, Ms. Odette, to be truthful, these policies were taken out some years ago, and I can't really remember what they do cover. So she said, all right, we'll call up the companies to find out. So said, so done. She called up the companies, inquired of the representatives what the policies covered, only to realize I had term life insurance. I had 3 policies. They were all term life insurances. So definitely I realized that I need an additional coverage. So she was able to work out a policy that suited me, a retiree. The next thing I inquired about my other interest, which was really debt management. She said she's aligned with a company that offers such a program, whose representative, Sean, was very thorough in explaining how the program operates. So for here again, I signed up with that program. So for me, it was like a one-stop shop, as I was able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And thus I became a client. But like Helen, as I listened to additional webinars and presentations, I figured it was going to be a gross injustice for me to just keep all this knowledge for myself. So I decided then to take the process of going forward. So I enlisted on the online course, studied for the license exam, passed it, and became a license holder to be able to approach and empower families about their future. I realized that we all face our storms of life, but it's reassuring that there's a peace of mind knowing that there are financial resources available that will protect and secure you as you move through, as you ride through the storms of life. Now, for those are who have their houses in order, I should say, kudos to you. You're well ahead of the game. But for those who may need a financial checkup, I think this will be the golden opportunity for you to do so. But that decision remains with you. Thank you for listening. And I hope that whatever you learned tonight will be edifying for not only you and but also your families. Because as I look at this program caters not only for one particular person, but it caters for the whole family, from babies right up to retirees like me. Thank you very much. And it's over to you, to my mentor and senior marketing director, Ms. Odetta King. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Your story is incredible. Wow. And on that note, I want to remind everyone that our Money Mastery series, which is every Wednesday at 7:30, is open to the public. I know I've gotten some texts asking me if they can share the link. You absolutely can share the link. And wow, oh my God, I'm so excited. Wow. So I want to highlight a couple of folks that are on. We're super, super excited for them because they recently passed their license and they will also be doing their grand opening. You guys are seeing tonight the grand opening for Mr. Robertson and Brian Robertson, who was a total stranger, right? He was a total stranger, just minding his business, looking for debt solutions, and he stumbled upon my YouTube channel, and the rest is history, as you've heard. So tonight we're acknowledge him and celebrating his business launch. He moved from a client, for a stranger, to a client, and then now an educator, right? So it just goes to show this business is a blessing. It's going to touch strangers' lives. Even people who are already retired can also do this. So I want to also quickly spotlight next week, and let me pull this up. Next week, which is going to be, no, not the 11th. I think it's a vote. Who do we have on the vote? Oh, so next week, with Wednesday, the vote, we'll have another grand opening. You're going to hear from an incredible, incredible person who was also a stranger and is now part of our financial education campaign. You'll hear all about Gavin next week, Wednesday, as we celebrate his business launch. Then the following Wednesday, which is going to be on June 11th, you'll get to hear from who I call my mentor, my amazing aunt, who is the backbone of our family. She was the one that led the flag from sales to teaching. She's the one responsible for me starting my career teaching in Guyana. She's also the one responsible for, making me sell in the market when I didn't want to, but it's all paying off. So she'll be doing her grand opening on Wednesday, June 11th. You're going to hear her incredible story. And then we also have, oh my God, this is my second mother in the business, Miss Helen Amsterdam, who is also retired. And these are all teachers, by the way, guys. So Miss Helen, her son and I went to Multilateral together. We were friends in school. And I'm not going to say much, but I will tell you these next Wednesdays are going to be powerhouse. And you're going to hear dynamite, incredible stories from strangers who became family, friends, and a campaign for this mission of financial education. Right? So it's going to be the same link. Make sure that you guys are sharing this link and you're coming on to hear from these incredible, incredible speakers. And with that being said, I'm going to kick off tonight's session talking about who we are, what we do, how we help families with this amazing, amazing opportunity. So just by show of hand, or actually you could put in the chat, let me know what city you're from and if you are a guest, right? So if you're a guest, just say guest and what city you're from, so I could kind of get a feel of who's in the room. Are you a guest and where you're from? And do we have any retirees? If you are a retiree, also put that in the chat, right? So it's not over until it's over, right? Let's see. Do we have anyone? No retirees? Okay. All right, so let's get started. Oops, let me just go ahead and mute the lines. Make sure we have no interruption. Okay, so if any question come to mind, just go ahead and put it in the chat. And if we have time, we'll be able to take calls. So my name is Odetta King. I am a senior marketing director with World Financial Group. I am also the proud author of 4 books, All Personal Finance, All to God Be the Glory, and WFG. Everything that I know about finance is all from this business. So let's talk about some challenges, right? 68% of Americans say they are not on track to retire, right? And that is because there is a lack of understanding how money works so that we can make money work for us, right? 60% of Americans, unfortunately, get diagnosed with an illness, with one of the leading causes being financial stress, right? But when you understand how to build a solid financial foundation, it doesn't matter what life throws at you, right? You're prepared financially, right? And when we talk about financial, we want to make sure we're putting things in place to protect yourself, your family, your health, and your money. 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, right? So even if you have a job and a part-time job, it's still not enough. The cost of living is increasing, things are expensive. And so on top of it, we don't understand how money works and we're spending more, right? So we have a problem there. So the answer is multiple sources of income, but you're going to hear some things today that you're probably not heard before. We don't subscribe to getting a second job, because a second job, you're still going to be in the rat race of paycheck to paycheck. We subscribe to the notion of multi-handed income, where now you have a business that at some point, whether you show up or not, your business is going to make money for you, right? And then 84% of people said they want to work somewhere where it matters, right? What they're doing every day is making an impact. Well, when I was in corporate America, well, all I was doing is putting people in debt. I didn't care if you could afford a penthouse. I was going to sell you the penthouse. I was going to upsell you to the nicest suite in the hotel, right? That was my job, right? So was I really making an impact? Probably not. I was putting you into debt, whether you could afford it or not. I was going to upsell you to have a nice luxury experience at one of our 5-star hotels around the world, right? So here we believe in teaching financial education because it's ironic that we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but yet still we have so much money problem. Well, what we've come to learn is that there's 2 types of families in America. You have family A, which is 95% of middle America who have a retirement crisis because number one, where they told us to save our money in those accounts are not necessarily set up for our best interests, right? You're going to learn this. Also, they tell us to go to school. Well, guess what? A lot of us went to school and we changed jobs, or by the time we finish with school, we have student loan the size of a mortgage. And they never educated us on how to manage our debt, right? So we have an education crisis. And on top of it, we like spending. We are consumers, right? So we spend, spend, spend. So by the time you're getting your paycheck, you find yourself in a debt cycle where debt becomes a way of living. You have a lot of taxes because you have a job, right? No tax deduction because it's a job. And you also have debt. You got the student loan, you got the car loan, you got the credit card, you got the mortgage, just debt. And half of your paycheck is going to living expenses. But what if I tell you that the 5% of middle America has a totally different outlook? Family B is 5% of of wealthy America, where they control the majority of the wealth. And what they're doing is what we're educating families to do. Pay yourself first. Before you even get to your paycheck, it should already be deducted to pay yourself first. Unfortunately, a lot of us, we get our paycheck and we spend and we spend and we spend. We pay bills and we spend. And then we attempt to save what's left over. How is that working out? Not good, right? But family B, 5% of wealthy America, they do the opposite. They pay themselves first. They save for their retirement, but guess what? Where are they saving? What accounts are they using? It's not what we think, right? And then because they believe in education, they start saving for their kids from birth. They don't wait until the child is 11, 12 to start scrambling. No, the minute that child is born, 0-year-old, they've got things put in place already for that child. And they understand proper protection. When it comes to protection, they're not thinking life insurance, burial, life insurance, debt. No, 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 no. When they think of the word protection, they are thinking of building wealth using life insurance. So obviously the 5% clearly is doing something different. This is why they run the world. But we could do it too. So this is why our mission for financial education is to educate the mass what the 5% are doing. Because you see, most people don't plan to fail. They're just going to fail to plan. So let's talk about the rules of money, because there are rules, right? The first rule is understanding compound interest. We've all heard about it, but what does it mean? How does that tie into your money? Well, Albert Einstein, one of my favorite uncle, created this rule. 72 divided by the rate of return, which is the interest that tells you how many years your money is going to take to double. So if you're getting 4%, if you're getting 4%, Well, 4% divided by 72, that's 18 years. That's a long time. So if you have 10,000 today divided by 4%, 18 years. 18 years. 18 years is a long time. That newborn baby is now an adult, and all they would have is 20,000. Not 18 real years roll around, and now we got 40,000. Well, let's go to the far right. What if you're getting 12%? 72 divided by 12 is 6 years. That same $10,000 that was taking 18 years to double is now only taking 6 years. Now, if you know this one rule, you're setting yourself up to win the money game. Because I hear people tell me every day, Odetta, I'm saving money, so I'm good. No, you're not. You're not good. It's not about saving money. It's about knowing where to save your money and how much interest you're getting, right? Because you could have two people saving 10,000. They both have 10,000. One is getting 4%. The other one is getting 12% because he knows where to put his money to get 12%. And in 36 years, they both meet each other at a mall and they're talking, and one said, hey, I got 40,000 saved up. I did good. I was saving money for the last 36 years. And the other one is going to say, wait a minute, only 40? How come? I got 640,000. They both saved. So the first myth is not just about saving money. Every day I hear people tell me, Odetta, I'm saving. No. We still got to talk. Saving money is part of the equation, but it's not the complete equation. Where are you saving that money? What's the interest you're getting on that money? Because you could be saving money in the bank, earning less than 1%. You could be saving money under the mattress. You could be saving money in your backyard. You could be saving money in the stock market. Like where? And what's the interest, right? The second rule, right? So look at the difference between 4 and 12. That's a whopping 600,000. Somebody knows this rule. This is why they're making more money and we're not, because they know this rule. And majority, 95% of America don't know this rule. Now, if you don't know this rule, it works against you. How, Odetta? Well, all loans. You got student loan, you got credit card loan, you got car loan, you got your mortgage. All forms of loan are going to work the exact same way. So anytime you are borrowing money, you want to know what's the interest you're earning and divide it by 72. Because you see that mortgage that they give you at 4% or 6% or 8%, do the math. 72 divided by 6%, that mortgage debt is doubling every 6 years on you. No wonder why the bank is never going to tell you. Because if the bank tells you this, are you going to take 30 years to pay your mortgage? No, you're not. If every mortgage company were to disclose this and give you the option, hey, you see this 10,000 I'm lending you to buy that house? It's at 12%. In 36 years, you would be paying me back 640,000. And if they give you another option and you have to pick between the two, you'll realize you don't want to take 30 years. You don't want to take 30 years. So when people say to me, Odetta, how come I don't know this? How come I never heard this? Well, as long as you and I know who's making money. So it is not in our best interest for them to educate us. Second rule to money is taxation, because my second favorite uncle, Benjamin Franklin, said it best. Two things in life are certain. We're going to die and we're going to pay tax. So if we know that these two things are certain, why not learn about it? So if I'm going to die, well, let me make sure I put things in place that it's not chaotic. Let me make sure that I put things in place so all my money goes to the right people that I want it to go to, and not what the government says, right? If I know I'm going to have to pay tax, well, let me look at what's the best way to pay my taxes. What's the best, least effective way or most effective way to pay the least amount of taxes legally? Now, there's 3 tax buckets. You have tax now, which is your checking, savings, CD, stocks, mutual. When you and I get paid at our job, automatically, Uncle Sam is going to take tax from your paycheck. Then you put it in these accounts and you're going to pay tax again on the gain. So yeah, we love when these accounts are growing, but you're going to pay taxes on the growth, which is the gain. That's called capital gain tax. It is what it is. We're just educating you. Then you have tax later. What is tax later, Odetta? Well, it just means you're not going to pay tax now, but you're going to pay tax later on the harvest of your money. And if we're saving money to grow, well, later the money's going to be bigger. So would you want to pay tax on the harvest when you have a lot of money, or you want to pay tax on the seed when you have little money? Another way of thinking of this is, do you think tax is going to go up 30 years from now, 25 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years? Do you think tax is going to go up or tax is going to come down? Another way of looking at this, as we live, are things going to get more cheap or more expensive? Think about it. As you and I continue to live, are things going to get cheaper or is it going to get more expensive? Guys, when I came to this country in 1996, we were using token for the train and the bus. Token. Token doesn't even exist now, right? You could have gone to the store with $1 and got 4 bags of chips with $1, 25 cents chips. There's nothing for 25 cents today, right? So when you have your money in accounts like a 401k, 403b, IRA, SEP, IRA, which are all traditional accounts that our job are shoving down our throat, why? Because they're passing the buck to you and I to deal with the headache down the road, pay taxes down the road, and the government is the one taxing the money down the road, and your job, your corporation, is the one getting the tax break today. So who's getting left with the stick? If you don't know this, you're going to be holding the stick down the road, right? So tax advantage, what does it say? The word itself, advantage, tells you that it's a good thing. Tax advantage, these accounts, you're going to pay tax today on your money, on your little money, your $200, your $500, your $1,000, whatever you're saving today. Pay the tax today so you don't have to look over your shoulder 20, 30 years down the road. And these accounts are Roth, 529, executive bonus, long-term care, cash value. From a tax perspective, these are the best accounts from a tax perspective, right? We're talking about taxes only here. Nothing else, just taxes, right? So from these 3, where do you have your money? Now that you understand a little bit more about taxes, which do you think is the best? And where do you have your money? Third rule of money, your investment options. You put your money in a fixed account, which could be the bank. It is safe, but it's not going to grow a lot because the interest is not there. Then you say, well, Odetta, I got my money in the stock market. I'm making a lot of money over there. The account is growing. True. And that's great, right? But guess what? I don't know about you, but I want to be rich and I want to stay rich. I don't want to be rich today and broke tomorrow. Money in the stock market is a gamble. You could be rich today. You could have $1 million in your 401k today. And when you're ready to retire 20, 25 years from now, how much you got? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the stock market is going to do when I'm 65. I have no idea what the stock market is going to do when I'm 65. How are you controlling your future? How are you controlling your future? How are you mitigating your risk? If you do not know what the stock market is going to do when you're 65, when you're 70, or whatever your retirement age is going to be. Now, the little knowledge that I had back then, without even knowing none of this stuff, I already knew that I was going to be in trouble because I like to see my money grow. I don't want to know I have 100,000 today and next month it's down to 90. So with the little knowledge that I had, I already knew that I was going to be in trouble if I don't change or learn something to position myself to have a nice sizable money in my retirement years, right? So variable accounts, it could grow, but there's no safety. Do you want to be rich today or you want to be rich forever? Right? If you want to be rich forever, now we're playing with the big boys. Now we're playing with what the 5% are doing. They're putting their money in index accounts. And I'm not talking about the S&P 500 index that you're seeing on the stock market. No. Because I also get clients telling me, well, that I have the S&P index portfolio. That's different. That is different. We're talking about index accounts with insurance companies. Only insurance companies can offer these index accounts. Now you have safety on your money that you will never, ever, ever lose. And you have growth on your money. So when the stock market go up, your money is going up. But when the stock market come down, your money is still going up. Warren Buffett talks about these strategies. Warren Buffett said, the first rule to invest in is never, ever lose money. And the second rule is, remember, rule number 1, never, ever lose money. So if you're part of that big boys club and you're friends with him, you know what he's talking about. Everybody else, we're clueless. Like, we heard it, but we don't know how to get it. Now you do, because you're on this webinar, right? So how would you like your money to grow? Do you want it to be fixed, where yes, it's safe, but you're also safely losing to inflation because you're getting 1%, 2%, 3% at the bank, and inflation is 5%. How are you keeping up with inflation? How are you keeping up with costs of goods? Or you said, you know what, Adetta? I'm getting 8%, I'm getting 9%, I'm getting 10%. My money's in the stock market. And that's great. But guess what? When the market go down, you're going down. So how are you controlling your future? Right? So for the people who like to say, well, that I'm not sure, let me do my research. You ain't got to do no research, because there's no amount of research you can do that's going to validate what these guys have already done. Time Magazine had an article on 401k. 401k is a tax code given by the IRS to tax you and I on the harvest. Think about it. They don't want to tax your little money. Think about it. The more I understood this, I'm so mad that we did not know this information earlier. The government don't want to tax your little money. They want to tax your big money. Like, that alone should make you mad. That they want to tax your big money, not the little money, because the little money is little money. They want to go after the big money. They want to tax the harvest. So a 401k code is to tax your harvest, not the seed. That alone should make you upset that you didn't know this stuff, right? 401k model was actually implemented in the 1980s during the Reagan era, big corporation to have a tax shelter by matching employees. See, that's how they trick you. They give you a match and you be like, oh, Dad, I'm doing good. I'm getting a match. Well, let me tell you something about the match. They give you the money in one hand and they're going to take it away in the other hand. If you know, you know. They give you the money in one hand and they're going to take it away in the other hand. How, Odetta? Taxes, stock market risk. Taxes, stock market risk. So how's your future looking? You don't know, right? And Wall Street found that it was easy to convince, you see, who to convince in? The middle class. Not the upper echelon, not the 5%. It was easy to fool us. So for the people who like to say scam, we all got scammed because they convinced us, the middle class, that it was okay to put all your money in a 401k or a 403b or a 457 because they all have the same classification. The government will make a lot of money through taxes, and Wall Street will make a lot of money through charging fees. Here's another thing that should make you mad. Whether you make money or you lose money, you still got to pay fees. Whether you make money or you lose money, shouldn't it be the opposite way around? If I lose money, I shouldn't pay fees because I already lost money in the market? No. When you lose money in the stock market, you still got to pay fees. Go read this article. Time Magazine. It's time to retire the 401k. But guess what? It's not only Time that talked about this. Forbes magazine also did an article about this. Why Index Universal Life Insurance might be the new 401k. And again, for the naysayers who say, well, I don't know, I got to do my research. You ain't going to find no research because you know what? Y'all don't read no books. So when people say, oh, Dada, how come I never heard about it? Well, what book you reading? You want to hide things from people? Put it in a book. Nobody's going to read the book. They're all Googling and going to TikTok. No, that's not credible. Read the book. Here's one book that I recommend all of you, right? If you want a copy, reach out to the person who invited you tonight, or you can send me a text and you'll get a copy of this book, right? Money, Wealth, Life Insurance. How the wealthy, not the middle class, how the wealthy people. I want to do what the wealthy doing. Whatever they're doing, I'm doing too, right? How the wealthy use life insurance as a tax-free personal bank. Did you hear anything about debt? Did you hear anything about burial? Who fooled you? Who fooled me? Who fooled us? Right? Now, when this book was written, Bank of America had 19 billion. Wells Fargo had 17 billion. Chase had 10 billion. US Bank had 5 billion. This book was written in 2016. I'm just guessing. I know the answer, but I'm just going to put it out there. Do you guys think these amounts have gone up? Now we're in 2025, or it went down? What do you think? Put in the chat. Do you think those amounts went up or went down? Well, it went up. It went up. It didn't go down. It went up. So why? Ask yourself, why are you and I shying away? And these banks that got billions of dollars still buying more. Something that they know that you and I don't know. But that's about to change because we're sharing this thing like wildfire. It tells you right here in the book. It is not insignificant that banks place billions of dollars in life insurance. It's a reflection of the value they place on this powerful asset. Hello, you see the language that they're using? This is a powerful asset. If you got your IUL, this is a powerful asset. This is not just a burial policy. This is a powerful asset. For banks, it provides the ultimate in safety. Isn't that what you want? Safety on your money, stability on your money, growth on your money. Yeah. Tier 1 capital is considered to be the core measure of a bank financial strength. So listen, when I have clients that tell me that, well, I don't know if I want to do this, honey, your money is already there. Honey, your money is already there. You're the one just not getting the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% interest. The banks are getting it. Now, it's not only the banks. I promise you, all of you on this Zoom, somebody got one of these companies' products in their house. Tell me I'm lying. If you love Starbucks, guess where Starbucks got their money? Because Starbucks is on this list. If you use Avon deodorant or Avon products or Avon makeup, guess where Avon got their money? You got your Verizon cell phone like I do? Just had my mom switched over from T-Mobile, brought her on my plan with Verizon. Guess where Verizon got their money? You love taking your kids to Walt Disney? Guess where Walt Disney got his money from to even created Walt Disney? You got GE, refrigerator, microwave, or some electronic appliance in your house. Guess where GE got their money? You went to the McDonald's drive-thru with your kids and you got the Heinz ketchup to go with the fries. Guess where Heinz got their money? You got Bed Bath & Beyond sheets in your house. Guess where Bed Bath & Beyond got their money? So ask yourself, what is it that these companies and banks know that they're invested billions of dollars? And I'm shying away from it, thinking it's just for burial. I need to do some more finding out. I need to do some more reading. Well, guess what? No more Googling. No more going to TikTok. We're going to read. We are going to read, okay? When you become part of our organization for $125, which gives you lifetime access as a member, you get access to read at our book club. Right now, we are reading the book, The Power of Zero. The Power of Zero talks about how to move from not paying a lot of taxes to having zero in taxes. And why, right? We're going to read, right? The answer is in the book. But most people don't like reading. And they say to themselves, want to hide things from people? Put it in a book. Put it in a book, right? Just look at the title. Becoming Your Own Banker. The Doctor's Wealth Preservation Guide. Retirement Miracle. The Wealthy Physician. Tax-free retirement. What would the Rockefellers do? Guys, the Rockefeller money is still rocking. The Rockefeller money is still rocking so many generations deep. Don't you want to know what they did so we could do the same for our generation? The answer is in the book. It's all in the book. So what are you reading? Well, we're not reading these books. That's why we don't know this information. So again, our goal is to teach financial education. So if you are a teacher on this call, or you know somebody that's a teacher, have them connect with us because we're going to teach financial education. Your future should be in your hand. I can't believe, now that I know so much more about money, I hate when people tell me, oh, I'm good. I have myself in my 401k. I have myself in my job. No, you should have your own finance in your hand. You should have your four cornerstone. What is your four cornerstone of that? Making sure that your money, wherever it is, has these four things. Your money is growing, constantly growing. I don't ever want to log into my account and see one day I have 100,000 and the next day I got 90,000. No, your money should be growing at all time. Your money should be going up all the time. And if it's not, this is why you want to talk to us. Your money should also be safe because, like I said, you don't want to be rich today and poor tomorrow. You want to be rich and stay rich. So your money has to grow, your money needs to be safe, and your money needs to be tax advantage. What is tax advantage? Tax free. That is going to make such a huge difference because I promise you, if you have two people, one has $1 million in their 401k, which you already know has not been taxed. So how much they got, we don't know. If you got $1 million in your 401k and you are about to retire in 5, 10, 15 years from now, how much you got? Well, that I don't know because I don't know how much I'm going to pay in taxes. You don't know. But it's not going to be $1 million. It's going to be less. It's going to be less because that money was never taxed. But if you have $1 million in a tax advantage account, honey, it's $1 million. It's $1 million. So knowing where to put your money to have it in a tax advantage account is going to set you up because you're going to have more money. You ain't got to look over your shoulder because Uncle Sam is going to take 30 or 40% of that. And you also got to protect yourself, protect your money, protect your health. Because God forbid, if you cannot work because of a chronic, a critical, or a terminal illness, you cannot work for the rest of your life. What do you have in place that's going to give you access to hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions? Many of you know that my brother's in a nursing home. And even though he's in a good nursing home, one of the best in New York City, we still have to come out of pocket. We still have to come out of pocket for the rest of his life, as long as he's alive, to pay for extra stuff. So if you cannot work, God forbid, for the rest of your life because of some major illness, disability, or whatever, what do you have that will pay you or give you access to hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions? Millions, yes, millions. So when I sit with the wealthy clients and I show them this stuff, even though they got money, they're still dumping more money because of this four cornerstone, right? And when you become a member of our campaign, you're going to learn about these things because I did not know about these things 8 years ago, right? You're going to learn about how to increase your cash flow. You got to have multiple sources of income. And at this point, I don't even tell people get a job. I don't tell people get a second job. I tell people start a business because with a business, you have so much tax write-off. With a business, you have so much more leg room to do things. Yeah. With a business, you can write off everything. How does the government know when I go to the grocery store, I'm buying water for my house versus I'm buying water for my office? It's a tax write-off, right? You're going to learn how to save for your kids, college. And for those of you that have grandkids, you might be someone that this is good info, but come on, I'm already grown. Well, you got your grandkids. You got your grandkids and you got your kids, right? And even if maybe you don't have any grandkids like me or kids like me, You didn't drop from a coconut tree. You belong to a family. You got nieces, you got nephews, you got cousins, you got aunties, you got uncle, you got family, right? Emergency fund, 3 to 6 months should be in an emergency fund. Understanding all types of life insurance, because there are several types. Me being in New York all day, every day, I'm seeing term, and I'm like, there's such a huge injustice, such a huge lack of financial education. Because now, last week alone, I had 3 people call me in their 70s. They took out term insurance when they were 30 years old, 20 years old, 40-year-old. And in 30 years, they're still here. They're still alive. But guess what? Now the price have jumped astronomical from less than 100 to over 1,000. That is term insurance. And a lot of people are walking around with policies and they say, oh, that I got a policy, I'm good. No, you're not. Bring your policy. Let me read your policy. Let me review your policy. Because I don't want people calling me when they're 70 something to tell me, oh, my policy about to expire and all this money for the last 30 years is wasted. And then how do we build wealth? Right? Your 401ks, your IRAs, your pension, your annuity. How are we building wealth to make sure that that money's going to be there when we need it the most? And last but not least, wealth preservation. Nobody's talking about a trust. Why do you have your house in your name? Why do you have your bank account in your name? Why do you have your certain financial accounts in your name? That is the easiest way for you to be robbed in this government, in this country, in this USA of America. Nobody's talking about trust. We're all getting a will, and guess what? You know why we're all getting a will? Because we don't know better. And as long as we keep hearing about the will, guess who's making money off of us? Think about it. All of the mainstream financial stuff is not really benefiting us 100%. It's benefiting them. Because as long as all of us have a will, when all of us die, guess who has the last say on what your family gets? The government. The government. The government. It's not what you say in your will. Probate court is what's going to dictate what your family gets eventually. So we're on a mission to educate our community from birth to burial, right? We offer workshops every Monday and Thursday. When you become a member or you're part of this organization, which means you paid $125, which is nothing, because I went to NYU and I didn't learn nothing about personal finance at NYU. How? How could you go to Ivy League school and never learn nothing about money? Never learn nothing about personal finance? But you setting us up to have a great career. Really? You're not going to learn this in school. So when you pay $125 and you become a member, you have lifetime access to come and learn. Put things in place for your own family. Put things in place for your nieces, your nephews, your kids, your godkids, your stepkids, your grandkids, whoever. So we could all be like the Rockefellers. So these are the workshops that we hold every Mondays and Thursday, right? So when you sign up tonight with the person who invited you, you could be on that workshop tomorrow, right? The workshop teaches how to increase your cash flow, how to manage your debt, because we have an amazing debt roll-up program that negotiate about 30 to 40% of your debt. When our organization call American Express, Visa, MasterCard, they're not calling for one. They're calling on behalf of hundreds of clients. So the department that we're going to talk to, you and I will never talk to because we're just one individual, right? How to build a strong financial foundation, how to protect yourself, your family, your money, how to build wealth. That's all important stuff, right? How to accumulate assets, how to properly retire yourself. Because here's another thing that we see. Even people that are retired, they're still living paycheck to paycheck. The social, the pension, the 401k is not enough. And guys, we just had a training last Saturday. The number one fear for people in retirement is not debt. There's a study. It's not debt. It's outliving your money. Outliving your money. Knowing that you're still alive, or God forbid, worse yet, you get sick and you outlive your money. Now you're a burden to your kids. And maybe your kids don't even live in the same state. What's the quality of life you're going to have in your later years? What kind of medication you're going to get in your later years? I want the best medication always. I don't want the generic brand. I want the best, right? You want to have the best doctor. You want to go to the best specialist. You don't want to just have to stay in your network because that's what your insurance offers. You want to have the best, right? So in retirement years, your money is what's going to go before you. Your money is what's going to keep you longer because you're going to get the best care. You're going to get the best medication. And if you happen to have a home health aide, trust me, your home health aide is going to love you because she knows that that's a paycheck. And if you pass away, now she got to go look for another case, right? And wealth preservation. All this stuff we're working for, yes, we can't take it with us. But while we're alive, we want to be happy. While we're alive, we want to be comfortable. While we're alive, we want the nice house. While we're alive, we want the nice car. While we're alive, we want to go on the trips. While we're alive, we want to eat lobster, caviar, whatever. So yeah, we can't take it with us. But while we're alive, we want to live the good life. And that's going to require money. And yes, whenever we're gone, we bless the next generation. We can't take it with us, but while we're alive, we need it. We need it while we're alive. We need it for survival. Look how many people are homeless, right? We need money while we're alive. So money is not everything, but it means a lot. Without it, you could be homeless. Don't pay your landlord. Don't pay your mortgage. You could be homeless. We need it. Not you're going to be homeless. If not, you're going to not eat healthy, right? So while we're alive, we need these things to live a comfortable life. And then, yes, when we die, we bless the next generation with the excess that we leave behind. So wealth preservation is important. And a lot of people say, well, that I ain't got nothing. Well, you'll be surprised. You may say you ain't got nothing, but I've seen people come for the refrigerator. I've seen people come for the TV. I've seen people come for the microwave. I've seen people come for the designer pocketbook. I've seen people come for the car. I've seen people come for the $200 in the bank account. Oh, yeah, we all got something. So wealth preservation is important. So our company is Aegon. We're based in the Netherlands. One of 9 companies listed too big to fail, right? Almost 200 years old. And Transamerica is our parent company here in the US. They're based in San Francisco, almost 120 years old. Talk about strength and credibility, right? And WFG is a distribution platform that's based in Duluth, Georgia. So we don't own any products or companies. These are all A-rated companies on our platform. Legal up, lawyered up. For them to even be on our platform, they have to be vetted. And they're all A-rated. So when we sit with clients, we have choices. Nationwide, y'all know the jingle, they're on your side. Vanguard Investment, Allianz Investment, Jackson, right? Prudential, Pac Life, all of these companies and more. So we're looking to expand throughout the country. If you know anybody that's interested in teaching financial education and getting into this industry, we want to talk to them, right? If they have a teaching background, they have a sales background, they have a managerial background, right? We want to talk to them. Have them reach out to the person that invited you, or come on these Money Master webinars every Wednesday. So we get paid here to teach people about money so they can save smarter their money. I can't tell you every day I hear people telling me, oh, Dad, I'm already saving. Okay, that's great. But we still need to talk. We still need to talk. Oh, Dad, I have a life insurance. That's great. But we still need to talk, right? Because it's about saving smart. Now, they might be saving that $500, but where, right? So now when you sit with me and I educate you where to save that $500, because now I've educated you, you're going to happy to save this $500. And this $500 is going to give you leverage from day one. So when you start with us, you're a training associate. This is the entry level. We all start from the bottom. But you're not going to stay at the bottom. You're going to move up. The goal is within your first 30 days, we helped you hit your first promotion as an associate. So by the time you get your license and you're an associate, you would have had some field training. You would have sat in on a couple of appointments and see this over and over. Now with your license as an associate, you help a family save $500. And again, that family is already saving that $500. But now you've educated them on where to save it smarter. That $500 that they save in their plan, in their account, you as an associate get paid $2,700. But what if you want to be a marketing director, which is a junior broker? That same person that you helped save $500 as a marketing director, now you're making $3,720. Or a senior broker like myself, me helping somebody save $500, I make $4,800. The more money people save, the more money you make. And you could do this business part-time, sometime, or full-time. And I say sometime because we have a nurse, Caroline, who's not on right now, right? She's sometime, right? She's a survivor of leukemia, I think it's called, sickle cell. And, sometimes she's on, sometimes she's off. But even when she's in the hospital, she's still talking to the nurses, right? Because of her illness. So you could do this business part-time, full-time, or sometime. A lot of our retirees, they're just doing this as they wish. There's no pressure. There's no goal. You want to help some people at your church? Great. Let's help them at your church. You want to help your kids, your family, your grandkids? Great. Let's help them. Right? Talk about world-class recognition, right? We get exposed to a lot of leaders in the industry here. These are all people that were at our past convention. We have ET that's coming up again by popular request, right? We're flying out to Dallas, July 24th to 26th. Eric Thomas is going to be our keynote speaker, right? We've had John Maxwell, the founder and father of leadership. Amazing leadership here. So life is all about choices, guys. Where you and I are today, believe it or not, is 100% on the information that we've had in the past, the decisions that we've made, and our environment. Let that sink in. Where you and I are today is a direct reflection of the decisions we made based on the information that we've had in the past. So the information that we got, we made the best decision with it, and our surroundings. So what will your future look like being in an environment like this, learning about money, making better decisions because now you know the information. Now you know what the wealthy are doing. Now you know what the 5% are doing, right? The education we're going to get here, which you're not going to get at NYU, which you're not going to get at Johns Hopkins, which you're not going to get at MIT, which you're not going to get at St. Francis, which you're not going to get at St. John University, because they're not going to teach this. And I know this because I teach at those schools. And I'm fighting with them to get personal finance in the classroom. Personal finance. Everything else is getting approved except personal finance. Why? Why? Why are they making personal finance mandatory? It's bigger than us, right? So you can save your future by learning how money works, right? When you become on board, you're going to get a full financial analysis for you and your entire household, right? You can decide to get the license, come on board, and make extra income on a referral basis, right? Build your future, make your own schedule, be your own boss, right? I haven't had a job in like over 8 years, and I love it. I love the freedom here, right? So Bill Gates said it best, if you're born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, and especially after being on this webinar and getting access to this information, if you die poor, it is not a mistake, because now we know better. And when we know better, we do better. So together we can build a future, right? Your choices are, you could decide, okay, this sounds great. I want to become a client. I want to learn more. I want to be part of this financial education movement, learn about finances, get my own house in order, get my family house in order, be a client. Or you could say, you know what, this sounds good, but I want to do the business too. So you pay $125 to do your initial background check. We get you started with the licensing course material, that's $30, and you go through the licensing process to become a licensed financial educator to teach your community, because I don't know everybody. Brian doesn't know everybody, right? So the more people we have coming on board and teach this information with their community, together we can level up and be better, right? So you could do both, or you could do one, right? You could do both, or you could do one. You could do both, or you could do one. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it back to, one more thing I wanted to invite you guys. This coming Saturday, if you live in the New York City area, we are having, oh my God, I'm so excited. We are having our pop-up shop, which is going to be at Flatbush Junction, 2174 Nostrand Avenue, right at the junction. Flatbush Junction is going to be from 3 p.m. until, so we have about 12 amazing vendors. Of course, we've got our entire financial suite on deck. We have our estate planning attorney, Yvette Short. We have our tax guys that's going to be there, Imara. We've got lots of vendors that are going to be doing anything from holistic health and wealth. We've got food on deck. We've got music. We've got accessories, clothing, shopping, all kind of trinkets, arts and craft. So come on out, right? Come on out, get to meet us, socialize, network, and let's position ourselves to win the money game. We could all, I'm sure we're all doing good, but we could all do better. But we can't do better if we don't have access to the information, right? So thank you so much for being on. And again, next Wednesday, we're going to have another individual launch his business. And I'm going to turn it back to Carmen, to Brian, if he wants to say any lasting words. But again, I'm so proud of you, Brian. Congratulations on getting your license. Your business is fully up and running. And now we're going to be helping a lot of families start. And I know the reason why you wanted to start with us is to share this with your church, your community. So we're gonna be in church, okay? We're gonna be in church, thanking God and helping the people. So Brian, I'm gonna turn it back over to you if you have anything you want to add.
No, Miss Odette, I think you covered it all. I just like to thank everyone for coming and hope that tonight was very educational in one way or another for everyone. Thank you so much. God bless.
All right, guys. So we'll see you on Saturday in our office. And if not, please, please, please connect with the person who invited you tonight so we could get this train moving, right? Because information without implementation is not good. So we're either you're going to call us or we're going to call you and you're going to let us know if you want to be a client, a member, or you want to learn more about the business opportunities so we could get you going. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next Wednesday on our Money Mastery series. It's going to be the same link. And yes, you can come back and hear the information again. You're going to have a different speaker, a different host. And okay, good. Any questions? Let me see, go through the chat. I don't think I see it. Okay, up. Yes, Ms. Zanette Brown, hurry and get your license. You're up next in June or July. Don Baldeo, it's happy to see you. You're up next too. All of you guys are the next wave, so hurry and get that license. No license, no money. There's a lot of people that need this information.